Good morning.
Are you ready to be a success? Master your career, you're a success. Do you believe it? A success. Come on, let's be a success. See, are you ready to be a success? She's a career master. A success. A success. A success. A success.
Good morning, and welcome back to Career Mastered Inside Career Success Show. I'm Dr. Lisa Wicker, CEO of Linwick and Associates and publisher of Career Mastered magazine. Once again, we're ecstatic to be here with you on this Thursday morning, and we're glad that you've grabbed your cup of coffee and decided to take a break with us. I'm ecstatic about our guest today, but before I bring her on, I often like to tell you a little about Career Mastered magazine. We launched the magazine in 2018 and Charlotte, North Carolina, and Detroit with launch parties. And since that time, we've grown globally. Our goal is to advance women's leadership. And we do that for women who are in the marketplace, lifting other women up, loving other women, supporting them, and ensuring that we're paving the way for the next generation of leaders. And so these women are in the marketplace, compelling themselves to do the business of business. I'm especially thrilled today as we prepare and forge ahead for the 8th annual Career Mastered Women's History Leadership Diversity Summit and Awards. We've been at this now for 8 years, and over that time, we've honored over 200 women. We've given scholarships to over $30,000 in scholarships to girls, and we're ecstatic about the work we've been designed to complete. So today and going forward until the summit and after, I will be talking with honorees, women that we are acknowledging their leadership, women that we're acknowledging their achievements, and those that are in the class of 2022. This morning, we're talking to Neeti Dewan. And I'm excited, very excited, that she is going to share some time with us and give us a peek inside of her fabulous, marvelous career and learn a little bit about her as an author and a number of other entities that she is a part of. And so let me bring her on right now to introduce her, and then I'll read her bio. And as you know, I often say that we have to read it so that we get it right. Good morning, Neeti.
Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so excited to learn a lot more about you, but I'm ecstatic that we are honoring you this year.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So let me tell the audience a little about your background, and then we'll get right into our convo. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So Neeti is a businesswoman. Let's just start there first. She is a businesswoman, an angel investor, author, and motivational speaker who is passionate about helping executives and leaders lower their stress while enhancing productivity in the workplace. And now I need to do that, okay? And so Neeti is a global tax and finance executive who's had leadership roles in Fortune 500 companies, the big four CPA firms, and is an entrepreneur and investor. Born in Agra, the city of the Taj Mahal, Neeti moved to USA in her early teens. She credits the yogic, if I said that correctly, yogic or yogi?
Yogic.
Yogit, and we'll talk about that. She credits the yogic upbringing she received in India as a crucial contributor to her corporate success in the United States of America. Neeti's books are ideal for executives and leaders battling stress or healing from burnout. And I think we should talk about that today. She's combined her yogic background and insights gleaned from her leadership experience across some of the finest organizations in America and to explore holistic ways of achieving success. In her first book, From Executive to Yogi, in 60 seconds, Neeti shares mindset and lifestyle habits through which you can remove stress while doubling productivity and efficiency in the workplace. In her second book, might I say second book, okay, High Level Leadership, Low Level Stress, Neeti outlines innovative secrets that help you to excel in business, improve productivity and profitability, increase margins, and lead you with your head and your heart with kindness, engagement, inclusivity. And might I say that she points out high stress is not necessary to succeed in business. In fact, it is counterproductive at every level if we fill every corner of our minds with busy work. We leave no space for innovation, which is the genius of American business. Welcome, Neeti.
Thank you, Lisa.
Absolutely. I really want to get into this conversation. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about your triumphs, your challenges, what motivates you, and some inspirations for your success. Okay.
Sure.
I'll also be watching for comments as we're talking. And we have Robin Wilson with us today. We have Raquel Rocky Harris with us today. And as women join in, I'm going to be looking to see if they have questions that we can certainly bring on and talk with them about. Okay.
Sounds good.
In the meantime, what I want to know, you said this quote I read where you said, if I was chasing success for only success' sake, I doubt I would have the same level of satisfaction in life. Explain this philosophy to me. I mean, with all your career success and what I call a very impressive career, explain this philosophy to me and how has this made a difference in your work?
Yeah, Lisa, I truly believe that in life, we have to have meaning, right? Life has to be bigger than us, bigger than just our families. It
Yeah.
has to be about something greater than ourselves. So, how do you create that meaning? The only way you can create meaning is if you utilize your success to create successes for others, right? No matter how small or big those efforts may be, but that's what creates meaning in life. And I remember when I was a young kid, I don't know, about, I think I was like 6 or 7. And my grandfather told me that, hey, Neeti, when you grow up, I want you to be very successful. And so, as I'm a young child, I have no idea what that means. So I asked him, Grandpa, what do you mean by success? How will I know if I'm successful? And I still remember his words. He said, Neeti, when you can stand back and know that you are living the dream that you have dreamed for yourself, but at the same time, you have created dreams for other people around you.
Yes.
That is what success is.
I love it. I love it. So really it comes down to success is not necessarily about you. It's about others and what you do for others.
Absolutely.
I like that philosophy because I totally subscribe to that. And based upon what you have done with your career in global tax, the fact that you have worked for Fortune 500 companies, tell us a little bit about your work and what you have done within your career.
Sure. So I have, lived sort of all over the country. I have moved from, Los Angeles to Philadelphia to New Jersey to Atlanta now, and the reason I bring that up, Lisa, is that if you're looking to grow, if you're looking to make a fabulous career, you have to be open to change. You have to be open to moving. And creating that change in your life. And that has helped me tremendously. But along with that, there was a couple of philosophies that I carry very close to my heart in everything that I do, whether I'm working in the tax area, whether I am sitting on a board of a company, or if I'm advising someone. There are a couple of philosophies that I carry with me. And one is, no matter what I'm doing, I've always made sure that I had balance in my life, right? So if you look around you, the most productive people have found a better way to work. It's not that they are working hard, they're working very, very, very long hours, because that leads to burnout. Instead, they've created a balance in their life and they've taken the time to build those solid personal relationships. And most importantly, they know how to prioritize. So that's sort of what I've done. I always look at what I'm working to understand, is this a game changer? Does it create value? If it doesn't, I'm not going to do it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that. I love it. So what I got out of that conversation just now is that you have to be flexible and open to change. And you also have to understand when you have that change, you need to find some balance in what it is that you're doing.
Yes. And while you're finding that balance, Lisa, The other piece of that, which is really important, is we all need to befriend our intellect, right?
Yes.
We are all blessed with a great mind, but we have to make sure that we let that mind work for us, not against us. And what do I mean by that, right? We are meant to generally have a pretty pleasant and joyful life. And I understand, there are people across the world who are suffering. We are not there. So as business leaders here, we have to make sure that everything that we do, everything that we think affects people around us.
Yes.
So as leaders, we have to be joyful. We have to carry ourselves in a certain manner that allows people around us to be joyful, to have a pleasant life as well. So to me, that's very important.
Well, you said something important there, and I captured it in the comments. And Robin Wilson is saying, yes, it is important to work smarter. You said we must befriend our intellect. I like that. I like that. And so, thinking about what it is you're doing, I think you said it's not good to be busy to be busy. I read that in your bio, right?
Yeah.
And so, based upon your career, tell us some of the benefits of your success, and then I want you to tell us some of the challenges of your success.
Sure. So some of the benefits of success are I get to do what I enjoy, right? I love working and helping my company when it comes to global taxation, coming up with tax planning ideas that work for us. So that's something that I enjoy tremendously. I love working on M&A, mergers and acquisitions. I love serving on boards.
Yes.
I love having the time to be able to write about those leadership experiences. So those are some of the benefits that I've had. And these benefits then allow me to help others become better leaders as well.
Yes. Yes.
Now, nothing comes without challenges, right, in life. So, as a woman of color, as I've come through the ranks, I have come across what we call, bias.
Yeah.
It happens, and many times that's unconscious. People don't even realize that.
Right.
And when I was younger, I used to complain about it, right? This is how I'm being treated. They didn't listen to me. They didn't hear about my ideas. But as I've grown older, I've realized, Lisa, that we are the ones who have to control that narrative,
Yes.
right? We can't put that onus on somebody else. So if somebody didn't hear your idea, speak up again.
Yeah.
Raise your voice and speak up and
Yes.
be very clear.
Yes.
Introduce yourself with a lot of confidence as to who you are, so people know who you are
Yes.
and what is expected of you.
Right. Right.
Right?
I know.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I think we all have been challenges, particularly as women of color, women in general, I think, but
Yes.
then women
Yes.
of color has another level added to that,
Right.
right? Especially when you're trying to um, have your voice heard at the table. In fact, during the conference, we're going to talk about the power of talk.
Yeah.
And just what that means in terms of closing that gap on diversity for women and the power and how we talk, right? And,
Yes.
and when we talk, do we realize what that means in terms of our presentation, right?
Yes.
And the power of the confidence of that. So tell me where you believe that as you've mastered your career, Neeti, that oftentimes you have had to find a detour or a pivot, inside of what you thought would happen, but that pivot was thought through, very well, and how you managed that pivot.
Yeah. So, Lisa, a couple of years back, my husband was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Right.
Oh my goodness.
Life was going just perfect before that, and this came as a shock to us. It was diagnosed pretty late, and at that time, the doctors told me that best case scenario between 3 and 5 years. Now, when you get news like that, what do you do with that?
Right.
That's something that totally knocks the air out of you.
Yes.
So, it took us about a week to sort of digest that information, and it truly affected what I was doing at my work. It wasn't important anymore, so something had shifted within me. But after a week, we sort of sat down, both my husband and I, and we said, listen, although we've gotten this news, it doesn't matter because we are still here today, right? You are still here today. So what we're going to do is maximize every single day, no matter what. We're going to
Mhm.
focus on joy. We're going to focus on love. We're going to focus on friends, our family, our children, our spirituality, and behave like there is no end to life. Because even though you've been given notice, it doesn't matter because we are all on that path, right? At some point, we're all going to be there.
Yes.
So it just kind of reminded me that we need to focus on our relationships. That's most important.
Yes.
That applies for both in your personal life as well as your business life, right?
Mhm.
So when you come into a new job, when you start as a new board director, I
Yes.
think instead of displaying and showcasing your technical abilities and how great you are at what you do, uh, we should rather focus on building relationships, because once you build those relationships at work as well as in your personal life,
Yes.
that's what allows you to be very successful.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. I love it. I love it. I just wrote my third book on something that you just talked about, which is
Okay.
using each day and maximizing every day. And the name of my
Yeah,
book is Capacity.
I
And
love it.
understanding that the fullness of who you are is 100% every day. And don't leave
Yes.
1 ounce on the table, right?
Right.
Because tomorrow's not promised and
Love
yesterday
it.
is over, right? And so I believe in everything that you just said. I think we just got this affinity thing going here, Neeti.
I like it.
But I just want to talk because you mentioned that about boards, like you are on several boards, and that doesn't happen every day for every woman. Would
Mhm.
you share with us maybe some of the attributes that women should perhaps
Mhm.
have in their bag of
Mhm.
or portfolio if they are aspiring to that? And you don't have to talk long on that. Just a couple of one or two things.
Okay.
That, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of things. I think if you can get operational experience, try to
Yes.
do that. Secondly, is if you can get some international experience or working on a business setup
Yes.
that helps you. And thirdly, when you put your bio and your board resume together, it's a little different from your career resume, because here you're going to focus on collaboration. This is how you worked together in a committee. So those are the things that you want to focus on.
Yes.
And when I was 15 years back, when I was wanting to get on a board, what I did was I wrote down my goal on a piece of paper and I put it under my pillow.
Yeah.
And I slept with that under my pillow for
I
over
love
2 years. And then all of a sudden, one day, I was on a board.
it.
So things
That's
happen.
okay, but you got to put it out in the universe, right?
Yes.
You got to put it
Yes.
out in the universe, but you got to be prepared, always being
Yeah.
prepared for the opportunity when the door opens, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
I love it. So take us, tell me, when you were a young woman or a young girl, when
Mhm.
did you get a glimpse of the future career the one that you're in now? When did you get a glimpse of this career that you have, I guess call
Yeah.
it fantastic career that you have?
So I always knew I wanted to be in business. Okay. But didn't have a clue when I was young as to what that really meant. So I used to tell everybody, I want to be the vice president or president of a company. No idea what it meant. But somehow, I got my bachelor's in business and ended up in tax. Believe me, it was not planned. Sometimes life takes you in a certain direction, and it turned out to be the best thing for me. It's
Yes.
because I love what I do, and it opened so many doors for me. So that's why I say always be open. You never know where life is going to take you.
Yes.
And I always wanted to be an author. So
Oh,
that sort of allowed me to understand business from the inside out. It allowed me to analyze business. And by doing that, I could utilize those skill sets to actually share in my books now with other
uh-huh,
people.
Well, actually, I love the fact that you're an author, and we're going to talk about that for a moment. But thank you
Okay.
for telling me. So, in fact, you did get a glimpse because you had this business mindset, and you
Yes.
also had the author mindset. Now, Robin, one of our guests here today, says, "I'm somewhat introverted, so I have to be intentional about how I assert myself in certain spaces. Otherwise, I will be overlooked." Not because I do not speak or dress with confidence. Rather, I
Mhm.
often observe more than I speak when I initially enter new spaces. So sometimes people are not aware of what I'm thinking or sensing until I
Mhm.
speak up. Do you have any suggestions for Robin?
Robin, I've been there myself. And the one thing I would suggest is if you have a certain business idea or on a project, etc., find out who is going to be involved in it, right? Who are the influencers, and reach out to them outside that big meeting. Go
Yeah.
meet with them one on one, share your ideas, and now you've got them as your allies. So when you go into that meeting, as you introduce the idea, maybe they can fill in the details because you've already spoken to them. So for me, that has generally worked well.
Yep, I love it. That's a great
Mhm.
recommendation. I hope, Robin, you take that on because you're right. Some people are just introverted, right? And you quickly get overlooked.
Yep.
Even those of us that are extroverted get overlooked in certain meetings. So
Right.
we have to talk about that at some point. But
Yeah.
I thank you for that, Needy. So tell us, who inspired you to focus on, you know, or stand with tax? Okay, because you said it kind of happened, but I'm sure you had some inspirational allies or people who
Mhm.
did that, not by name, but kind
Yeah.
of the environment that you were in.
Right. So, you know, in life, I believe that you need coaches in every area of your life, right? Whether it's a coach in health, whether it's a coach in cooking, if you that's what you want to do,
Yeah,
or a coach in business or
yeah,
your career. So, with every job that I had, I made sure that I reached out to people who knew more than me, who could help pull me up with them, who could teach me. And so, having that open mindset of continuous learning, continuous continuously asking for feedback allowed me to create good relationships with mentors. And so with in every job that I've had over the many years, I've always had wonderful people who've mentored me, who've been there for me. And so I can't pinpoint to one particular person. It's so many people,
yeah,
right? And I think as long as we can find those people within our business who can mentor you, but at the same time, look behind you and see what is it that you know. You may not know as much because you've just started out, perhaps, but you definitely know more than somebody who's coming behind you.
yeah.
So if somebody's mentoring you, who are you mentoring?
Mm-hmm.
That's the real question. And if
That's
you keep that loop going, that's how you're building solid relationships. Where you have solid relationships, that's where you're going to enjoy your work and you'll keep growing.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, I appreciate that. I mean, you were nominated for the Career Master Award Class of 2022. And I will say, we started this program some 8 years ago. It really is very competitive now. I mean, it used to be where we didn't have many nominations. Now we have so many that we have to go through the selection process. And so you actually were selected because I believe that someone that has been a supporter of yours introduced us, right?
Mhm.
And so how important is that for women to have, like you just said, allies and supporters, but
Yeah.
to really know who those people are, not, the fact that, yeah, I've had supporters and mentors. I can
Mhm.
name you my mentors and supporters that even 20, 40 years ago, I can still see their faces and
Right.
know some of the conversations that we've had, right?
Yep.
And so tell me,
Mhm.
um, especially being a woman of color, how important is that to make sure that you have a diverse slate of mentors?
Yeah. Lisa, as you said, it's really important. And, um, I call it creating anchors in your life. So I'm going to repeat that. We must create anchors in our life. And what does
Yeah.
that mean? Right? That means there are people there who are holding us up. So
Hmm.
when the tides come in and go, there are going to be bumps in the road, right, in your career.
Yep.
That's when those people are the ones who are your anchors and they hold you steady, they guide you. And the mentor whom you're speaking of, who nominated me,
Yes.
she and I have known each other for a very long time. We worked together on a few projects together in Los Angeles. And so, as women, we have to reach out to other women, right?
Yes.
And listen to them. We have to find out how we can support them.
Hmm.
Because as we know, a lot of the women don't get the right support in business, right? They maybe assign mentors. Like many of the jobs, if you go to, they'll
Yeah.
assign a mentor to people, right? But we're all mentored out. I
Yeah.
think what women really need are not even allies or mentors. They need people who are gonna just grab them,
Yep.
support them, and take them up the ladder with them,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yes.
And so if we can all start thinking about the women in our lives who we've worked with, who can be our anchors, as
Yes.
well as look around and see whom can you be the anchor for.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you do that? It's a few very simple things, right? Let's say you share your story with them,
Yes.
encourage them to share hers,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
celebrate her victories, lean
Yes.
back and listen to her, connect her with other business leaders,
Yes.
right? Ask how you can help them. And most importantly, invite her to the various events that you go to so you can introduce her, grow her network.
Yes.
And the last one is sponsor her. That's the
Mm-hmm.
right word I was looking for.
Yes.
Sponsorship, not mentorship.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So,
That's important. And to further that conversation, the topic of gender equity remains very, very
yes.
high on the table. We know that industries like I've come from automotive are dominated
Mhm.
by males, probably in the industry you're in. And what are your thoughts of how women navigate through adversity to reach goals, especially when it seems like the keys to um, are so hard to reach when you're trying to open that door?
Right.
How should they navigate, or what has been the norm to navigate
Mhm.
through those doors?
Yeah. So, gender equity across the board is a great North Star, right? We
Yep.
haven't gotten there yet.
Yes.
The question is, are we making progress?
Hmm.
Yes. Okay, we've made some progress. If you look at corporate boards, where you used to have, 10 years ago, about 11% only who were women. Now, I think last year the stats said maybe it's about 27%,
Yes.
right? So we are making progress,
Hmm.
but we're not making enough progress.
That's right.
So all of us women and men, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to really look around us and see what is not working for women. Why are they leaving the business, right?
Hmm.
Why aren't they, or why are they stuck in that middle management? What
Hmm.
are the skill sets that you need to help them grow so they can move up to the C suite or even be able to serve on corporate boards?
Hmm.
So we actively have to look around, we have to push them, we have to support them, we have to lift them. And
Hmm.
it can only be done together because we are all in this together.
Yes.
Women are 50% of the population. So
Yes. Yes.
if you have gender equity, you're going to have
Hmm.
better business, you're going to have better sales, better revenue, better margins. And
Hmm.
it's all great for business because every study out there that has been done shows that when you have diversity, the business does better. Who
Yeah.
doesn't want better business, right?
Right. Yeah. Hey, it's a
So,
no-brainer, it's a
yeah,
no-brainer.
yes.
But I think, and I know that people get so
Mhm.
comfortable in the environments of who looks like me and who thinks like
Yes,
me, that kind of happens, sometimes not even consciously. But I
yes.
want to talk about your books.
Hmm.
You're an author, and you talk about stress and the need to, work on focusing on kindness and the things. Tell us about your books and one, where can we find them? But tell us more about the content of your first and second books.
Sure. So both books are based on my yogic upbringing. I spent a lot of time with my grandparents, and so they sort of imbibed all this philosophies about life in me. And the books, both of the books, are really about having that balance in your life so that you can have success in both your personal life as well as your business life, right? So both books take those the tenets of the Eastern philosophies, the wisdom of the East, and they combine it with the genius of our Western business.
Okay. Mhm.
So this allows you to not just succeed in business, but also succeed in your personal life
Mhm.
and kind of have that meaning in life. Because look around you, Lisa, I'm sure you've seen many people who are highly stressed out, but they're
Yeah.
very successful.
Yeah.
But are they really successful?
Well, right now we are talking so openly about mental stress and mental illness,
Yes.
and
Hmm.
we certainly see the tenets of how that's
Yeah.
affecting people,
Correct.
from sports to just entertainment and so
Yeah.
forth. And so, what's the name of your books and where can we find them?
So both books are available on my website,
Uh-huh.
neetidewan.com.
Okay.
And the first book is called From Executive to Yogi in 60 Seconds.
Hmm.
The second one is High Level Leadership, Low Level Stress. And as I mentioned, Lisa, the whole idea is that pressure and stress is happening all around us
Yeah.
because people don't know how to conduct our mind and our emotions, right?
Very good.
But if you learn to deal with your inside, then the outside takes care of itself.
Right, right. I
So
love it.
we must plan life to be the best at our capability, and removing stress from our lives in a very methodolic
This are methodical.
thank you way.
I have some of those words too, you know.
Thank you. Allows us to have that certain calmness in our life, and calmness of our body, mind, and spirit that aligns well for us to succeed and feel that greatness within
Yes.
ourselves and people around us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell me this: when did you understand that you are actually making an impact in people's lives? I mean, we talk about paving the way. That's my passion. You know, this is, I think, the purpose walk for me of what I do to honor women and help girls. I can't tell you how that just satisfies me, right?
Yeah.
And so for you, many people look to find their purpose to impact in this world. Today, I think you're paving the way for the next generation of women to understand, especially from a corporate standpoint, that you don't have to be stressed and burned out. There are other things that you can do. And so when did you realize that you could actually make an impact in people's lives?
So this was about 15 years back, Lisa. A lot of my friends and people who I worked with would often ask me, you know, how do you manage to stay so calm all the time?
Yeah.
And I kept on being asked that question, and I realized how much of the opposite was around us.
Uh-huh.
There was no calm around people.
Uh-huh.
And so I wanted to make sure that, you know, this life is such a great gift. We have to enjoy it. We have to live the right way, because if we can do that, only then can we step outside of ourselves and help the rest of the world, right? And make a difference.
Yeah.
So it was at that point I realized that I had to do something to help others live without stress in their lives, to really live with joy. And that's when I wrote my first book. And, you know, you talked about helping girls sort of being that mission.
Yeah.
For me, my personal mission is over the next 15 to 20 years, I want to sponsor 100,000 girls across the world.
I love it.
With two things: education and microloans for their business. Because the minute we educate the girls around the world, the minute we give them independence through setting up their own business,
yes,
they not only take care of themselves, but their family, their society, and everybody around them.
Yes.
And for me, that's a very, very personal mission. And so with the sale of my books,
yeah,
most of the proceeds are actually going to sponsor these girls around the world.
Yes.
And so anyone who goes out and buys a book, know that your funds are helping a young girl or a young woman around the world.
Yes, I love it. That's why I told you we have so many things in common, because
Yeah.
my book proceeds goes towards the scholarship for the girls that we have.
Yes.
So it's really about bringing up and lifting up, and
Yes.
we how do people used to say it? Each one reach one, right?
Yes.
And so it's a matter of just one, because the next can cascade, and then that becomes like a continuation.
Yes.
Now, what I want to say to my audience, because with the technology, I've often said through StreamYard, I love StreamYard, but there's always some technical glitches. And it seems to me that we might have some people giving comments in LinkedIn, but I got a note here that says there's some destinations that have some technical problems. I think it's LinkedIn, because I see the comments coming from Facebook and YouTube, but I don't see the comments coming from LinkedIn. So let me tell our LinkedIn viewers that after this show, Neeti and I will both go into LinkedIn and answer your questions if you're actually writing them in the box and we haven't heard. Okay. So I want to thank you for being with us this morning. But let us just talk for a minute. And I know we're almost done about your superpowers. You might say you don't have any, but all of us do at least one. So tell us what you think your superpowers are as a leader and as a woman and as a mother or wife or whomever.
Yeah. So I think my superpower is my heart. I lead from my heart. I interact with my family with my heart.
Yes.
And, you know, if you start thinking about the rest of the world as your family, as your extended family, then you don't have a choice other than to lead from your heart and treat them just like you would your family members, right?
Yes.
So all of us need to start thinking inclusively about people in our business, people outside this world, and how do we treat each person? So if we learn to lead from our heart, you're not going to do anything to harm them, to hurt them.
Yes.
Your intentions are going to be clear.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. Well, I believe that because I think I read somewhere
Mhm.
that when you worked for PwC, you were known as the chief motivational officer. I got to know, how did that title come about?
Yeah. So while I was with them, I was a manager at PwC, and every morning when I wake up, Lisa, allocate about an hour for my yoga, for some meditation, and then I read. I read a lot of motivational books, right? Some things that help you grow. And so over time, I started taking some of those quotes and things that I would read and share it with my coworkers. And
Okay.
then pretty soon, this was done via email. And then pretty soon, other people started joining and asking to be included in that. And before you knew it, I think there were over 1,000 followers
Oh,
who
wow.
were reading my daily motivational quotes. And they started calling me their chief motivational officer.
I love it. I love it. I mean, that tells a lot about you. You say you lead from your heart. So I can tell you that you've demonstrated it, obviously, that people felt compelled to follow you, number one, and two, to even give you a name, that's associated with your leadership. So I think that's great. We've talked about a lot, and we're actually at the end of this. And like I told you
Mhm.
before we even started, we wouldn't get to all these questions, but I want to ask you, how do you continue to navigate in your truest form of staying true to yourself and authentically?
So I think there, as you grow older,
Yeah.
it doesn't come easily when you're young, but as you grow older, you get more comfortable with who you are.
Yeah.
And, I ask myself, who am I and who do I want to become? So
Yes.
I'm constantly balancing the two, knowing
Mhm.
where I am, who I am, and
Mhm.
then who is it that I still want to become?
Yeah.
I have a lot of other goals, right?
Mhm.
And what characteristics do I need to be able to be that person? So it's knowing that and focusing on that.
Yeah.
And the second piece is whatever we are doing, we, Lisa, have to be fully, fully immersed in it,
Yes.
right? If you immerse yourself, that energy allows you to be very focused and unwavering. It allows you to be resilient, to
Yeah.
follow through on anything that you want to do.
Yes.
So if when I'm doing something, being me,
Mhm.
I'm fully immersed in it. If I'm
Mhm.
talking to you, I'm only talking to you, not doing anything else,
Right.
because that's where my energy needs to go. And
Right.
that's how I allow myself to be my most authentic person,
Mhm.
is by being fully immersed.
I love it. I love it. Well, before we end, I need you to one part leave us with some parting words.
Mhm.
Um, I'm looking forward to seeing you in March in the
Yes.
beautiful city of Charlotte. You will join us for the Women on Boards panel, and then we get to honor you as the Career
Thank you.
Master Class of 2022 honoree. And so I'm
Thank you.
ecstatic that you're joining us, and certainly know that you're respected for the work and the remarkable achievements that you've made. And
Thank you.
what I would like you to do is give us a parting word of what we call the career mastered moment. What do you advise women in terms of those that are trying to master their careers?
So I'll leave with two thoughts. One is dreams. There's nothing more powerful in life than continuing to dream. So do that. And giving the chance to another person to have that dream. So go help someone.
Yes,
Let's all reach boldly out for what we want in our lives and in our business. And don't let anyone douse your inner fire. We all have that fire, right?
I
So
love it.
yeah, ensure your dreams include a plan to give back to society, make another human being's life easier, and give a helping hand. The second piece and the last point is live in joy. We must anchor both our work lives and our personal lives in joy.
Yes,
So the yogic traditions of India talk about the concept of Karuna Sindhu, which
yes,
means compassionate. It means prema, kindness, love. And if
yes,
we all come from that place of joy,
yes,
love,
yes.
compassion, we'll be much better leaders and we'll be much better people in our lives.
I love it. Thank you, Neeti, so much for joining us. And how can people reach you on your website? Could you give that to us, please?
Sure, it's Neeti Dewan, NEETIDEWAN.com. You can reach me via email through that. There's a contact form. And please go buy my books and support many, many women.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to share some powerful gems of advice. And we're going to continue this conversation after this show through the comments. So feel free, Neeti, to go and talk and answer some of those. Tanisha Thompson says her recognition by Career Master is very appropriate. And Neeti, you are deserving. Robin says, thank you for sharing this information and conversation, ladies. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. And I will see you, Neeti, in March. And then I'm going to talk just for a minute to the audience. Bye now. Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was a marvelous show. I can't wait till we bring our next guest on. We have some powerful women leaders that are in the marketplace doing the business of business. I always say compelling themselves to get it done. And so I just want to thank Neeti for her time. She's very busy. The job that she has is tremendous. I think responsibility. And so I'm just excited that she joined us today. And please go out and check her books out. And now what I want to be able to tell you is that we're ecstatic about the summit that's coming up. And I can't begin to tell you that right now we are going to be live streaming from uptown Charlotte, North Carolina, the Queen City. And not only are we going to have in-person participation, we're practically almost there with ticket sales, and we have live streams. So if you are interested in hearing from women like Neeti that are going to give you practical tips that you can take away like right now, then you should be at this summit. Bring your sister friend, your niece, your daughters, let them know this is information to advance today's global woman. And so I have a network of powerful women that I certainly want to give you access to if you join this summit. And in order to buy your ticket, you simply go to careermastersummitandawards.com and pick up your ticket today. I would love to have you included. And always remember that our conferences and summits are sponsored by major sponsors. Our title sponsor this year is Fifth Third Bank. Our presenting sponsor is Walgreens. And then we have gold sponsors and strategic sponsors like Mercedes-Benz, Food Lion, Lowe's Companies, Inc. We also have New York Life Insurance. We have JP Morgan Chase. We also have Primex Properties. We have Macy's. And I know for sure I'm probably going to forget someone, but Worth Advisors. We have powerful companies that believe in the work that we do, and they're going to be there to support us 100%. So get your ticket today. Understand that this work that we're doing is purposeful and impactful to bring the next generation of girls along, but also to honor and present to these girls that we're bringing along and paving the way for examples of what success looks like. Neeti is an example of what success looks like. And this year, we're also honoring the Diversity Impact 50. So we're honoring two sets of leaders. One is the Women's History Leadership Award honorees and the Excel Village Rising Star. And then we're honoring the Diversity 50 Impact, those women who are change makers in diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we do that every other year. So we have a slate of powerful women that will be with us, and you don't need to miss it. And so what I'd like to be able to do is just share with you quickly a snapshot of what is happening. okay. I hope that just shares and tell you in a nutshell, you need to be present. Thank you for joining us today, and see you next Thursday as I bring on another honoree. And I thank you again for being with us. Bye now.